What's up guys, welcome back to Fancy Goldfish Fanatics. Today we are going to be taking a look at a Scottish fancy goldfish breeder. So make sure you stay tuned to find out more. Hey Fanatics family, welcome back to the channel. Please check out the sponsors. The links are down in the description. Jimmy Goldfish USA and Star Fisheries. Now you may notice the setup has changed a little bit. Finally, I have the TV mounted on the wall so I could get rid of the coffee table, and I'm back to the original bean bag that I actually filmed all of the original videos on. So I'm finally back on the bean bag and I'm sitting right next to the tank, and as you can see I have the full side view of the tank now. So I'm super happy and I'm actually loving this setup. So in today's video, we are going to be going to a Scottish goldfish breeder. Now, he has previously had quite a few videos on the channel of his Oranda. However, he has just started breeding some Ranchu. Now, I had a video come out around 8 weeks ago where we had a look at his fry, some of the eggs that his Oranda produced, and then they went up to fry. But unfortunately, he lost those batch of fish to an unknown circumstance. However, he does have some Ranchu that have come on a little bit further than those previous fish. So we're actually going to be able to have a look at these Ranchu. They're quite small, but you can really see how they're starting to develop. He's going to show us the parent set. He's going to show us what he looks for. He's going to do a little bit of narration, as am I. So without further ado, thank you, Scott. Please take it away.
Hi Fanatics family. Just thought it was about time that I decided to give you a wee update on fry, etc, etc. What I'm going to do first is release the adult Ranchus into the pond that were the parents of the fry that you're going to see. So we'll do that first, give you a wee look at them. Right, so these are the adults. What I crossed was metallics to metallics for the first spawning, and then because I thought all my calicos were females, what I done was I crossed the metallic to that calico there, and that's the second spawning, which you'll see them later on. 10. I don't actually think that's very accurate, but what it does is at least it gives me a comparison. 10 and 9. Yeah, I'll leave them another 20 minutes or so, and we'll come back in 20 minutes or so and watch them being released. Right, that's us ready to release them. That's 3 that were already in there just to test out there wasn't any problems with the water. I put one in and then another one and then another one. So right, these guys can go in now. Bye little guys, enjoy your holiday. And don't worry, I'll put the pump on and, more to the point, drop the net. Right, everybody happy? Right, we'll go and have a look in this greenhouse.
Thank you, Scott, for that little introduction to the outdoor pond and the parent fish. As you can see now, we have come into the greenhouse. Now, Scott did give me loads of information about these fry and how he's keeping them and what he's feeding them. And I thought I could relay that to you, break all of those videos down to put it into a nice, easy to watch format. Now, as you can see, we have a very green tank, and that is covered with lots of hair algae, and that is where the majority of the fry are. Now you can see that these are some of the larger fish that Scott has selected out, and they are sometimes referred to as tobies. Now tobies are fish that generally have grown much faster than the others, and they can then become predatory and feed on the other fry. Now you'll notice these ones you can see on the screen now are way bigger than those previously that you saw on the video in that green tank. Now sometimes the tobies are fish that just generally grow faster than the rest, then they can start to predate on the smaller fry, and then they grow to absolutely extreme capacity. So These little Toby, or slightly bigger fish I should say, are the ones that he's pulled out and put into a separate tank to make sure they don't predate on their brothers and sisters. Now you will notice that he is starting to feed them a little bit of Daphnia. Now this will really bring them on really quickly. Daphnia has lots of good fatty acids and protein in it. It is a live food, so it means that the fish will chase after it. It gives them enrichment, and it is a natural prey, a natural food for them to eat. Now, as it is a live food, it can survive in your tank for plenty of time. Generally, I find it survives quite a long time in the system. And they feed on microalgae that is within the water column. So if you've got quite low levels, then they're probably not going to survive that long. But they can survive for, I would say, quite easily 24, 48 hours. You'll also see some of the parent fish that I've just put a little picture up on the screen. Those lovely metallic orange, metallic red Japanese top view Ranchu, which are half the parents, and the other half you'll see in a minute, which are the Japanese top view Ranchu and those calico fish as well. So these are going to produce some really interesting fry. It's going to be very interesting to see what the outcome is of this, whether we get lots of metallic fish, lots of calico fish, or we may even end up with some more black fish or fish that don't produce too much color. Who knows? It's going to be really interesting. You can see on the parent fish that there is a lot of blue in there, and that is going to be very interesting to see. If we do get quite a lot of calico fish, what kind of colors will they come out to be? Now I'm presuming we're going to get a lot of metallic fish, because I believe that metallic is the dominant allele within the genetics. You'll also notice that here is a little still image of the fry. You can see those different variations in sizes, but obviously as we get to that sort of 3-4 month mark, we will be able to see those fry will be into young fingerling fish. They should start to have developed some colors, so it's going to be interesting to see the update to this video and what those fry look like. Now obviously you saw that the fry were in small tanks, and Scott has actually pulled those out of that tank and he's now selecting through them. Now initially he will select for fish that have good body shape. Because they are so small, any fish that have a bend or kink in the spine, they will be removed and culled, or any fish that are showing any kind of deformities in the swimming pattern. But these fish are going to be so small, you need a microscope or a very good eye to notice that. Now once the fish have got to this sort of size, he's going to be looking for any split tails to make sure that caudal fin at the back of the fish has a nice split between the tail. The tail will come down in that triangle shape, and it is, as they are top view Ranchu, you should be able to see a nice split between either side of that caudal fin to see what it looks like and to see if it has a nice split. Generally, if they don't have a split down the fin, then that fish will be culled in very selective culling, but sometimes they can still have quite a nice shape to them and quite a nice potential, so sometimes he will keep them, and I believe Scott has actually kept a few of these on in this case. You will also notice again we have quite a large difference in size, and all of the fish are that brown sort of black natural sort of coloration. Now I believe they have this natural coloration, well, all goldfish do when they're small, and this is to avoid predators. Now I believe this is the reason why they can hide nice and easily, keep away from anything, and sort of blend into the background as well. Now whilst Scott was selecting for his fry, you can see that the other not his Ranchu, are starting to spawn and showing a little bit of activity in the spawnings, and unfortunately he did lose the majority of the original Oranda spawn we did the video on, but this is a little update I thought I would do on the Ranchu, and hopefully as these fish get bigger, and some of them look very good indeed, we'll be able to keep an eye on their growth throughout this year. Now here you can see he has cleaned the tank out, he's fully stripped it out, cleaned everything out to make sure it is as clean as possible, and he has reintroduced the fry that he has selected. You notice that quite a lot of the fry have nice straight backs, which is what we look for in Japanese Ranchu, and they also are showing quite good size to them as well. They've got really nice bodies, really full tummies as well. They've been eating lots of baby brine shrimp and lots of Daphnia. Now I believe he also feeds a crumb food, which is generally a pellet that he has finally squashed or that he has finally crushed to feed to the fry. Now, fry do need a very high protein diet, so it is definitely good to include a protein level above 45% if you are raising fry. And I would definitely have the use of live foods or frozen foods. You can use cyclops, you could use very small bloodworm and small brine shrimp, although the fish will probably need to be around that 2 centimeter mark to manage to eat those frozen and prepared foods. Now here's another look at those parent fish. You can really see how different they are looking in comparison to the fry, but give it 4 months, 3 months, and we'll start to see some of those colours developing. Some of the fish will maintain their natural colour for quite a long time, but I would say at that 3-4 month stage they will really start to turn, and you'll really be able to pick out the best of the bunch. Now Scott has managed to get some really nice focus shots of the Ranchu. It is very, very hard, and I have no idea how he's actually managed to do it, because filming fry and filming small fish is a very, very difficult task. Here you can see one is actually chasing a little Daphnia around the tank, which is really cool to see. And you don't often get to see up close videos like this because, as I say, they are very, very hard to capture. Now, if you do have any questions, please leave them down below for Scott. This is the end of the footage he has captured of his fry. Hopefully you have found it interesting to see what sort of tanks he keeps them in. Nice, shallow, small glass tanks. And then he is doing that regular cleaning all of the time. A couple of times a week, I believe, to remove any unwanted food, because these fry do need a really, really good water quality, and they need lots of food, especially to keep them growing and get them to grow nice and quickly. So thank you, Scott. Really appreciate the footage. I hope you enjoyed that video. Hopefully you found it interesting to see those small little Ranchu babies and hopefully what they will turn out into as they get older. If you have any video suggestions, please leave them down in that description below. But as always, thank you all for watching. Remember to keep those water changes up, and happy fish keeping.